So welcome to the video series. We decided to do this for staff and also our customers, and some of our staff will have access to other videos for internal knowledge only. But you can see here you can get access to our knowledge base directly, or you can just get to it via our website. So I'm Lawrence Buchanan, CEO of BNS Group. My email address is on screen. I'd like to welcome Clive Pereira, who's Director of R&D. So Clive, good to have you on board.
Thanks, Lawrence. Look, this is a great initiative. It always makes sense to show examples via video rather than reading copious notes. So this will be a great tool.
Yep. And this PowerPoint slide set we're going to go through is going to be available on our knowledge base right next to the video. But if you've got any general questions or sales-related questions, you can reach out to our sales team, and their email address is on there as well. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about our new SMS Enterprise edition. So our SMS server technology has been around for since 2009, been widely used at the Suncorp Group, handling all of their brands. But what we've been working on for the last 2-3 years now, from 2021, is our second generation of Enterprise SMS Server. And this is really where it sings. So what is it? So we thought we'd ask these basic questions so new customers and even our new staff can get on board very quickly and understand what this technology is about at a very high level. And as we go through the video series, we'll get more and more in-depth information. So what is it? It's an enterprise-grade software product. It's not a small business product. It's designed for enterprise and government. And it handles messaging and security controls that would otherwise be the responsibility of an application within your organization. So you can see here you've got applications sitting in your environment. You've got email clients like Outlook, all communicating through a really well-structured infrastructure inside your cloud tenancy. So what clouds can it be used on? So we've obviously tested here, we've indicated AWS, so we're one of the top 2% partners in the world who've made this level of accreditation. This is called RDS Ready. We've also tested in Microsoft Azure. So what's it all about? It's about sending messages out to your customers, whether they be one-way branded, such as NAB in this example, or two-way messaging or internal communications and broadcasts. Very, very powerful broadcasting system built into the platform. So tell me more, you're saying. So who are we? So we're an Australian business. We've been around since 1989. We're one of the independent software vendors in this country who do really cool solutions for customers. And the key points we want to just call out here is think of the software running on your server in your cloud tenancy as an internal aggregation gateway, handling all of these controls and messaging and security and all the security checks and everything else around it. Importantly, when applications and users submit message requests to go out to the public via SMS, that can also accept what's called metadata. So it could be account number, policy numbers, etc. So that is stored inside your SQL database in your cloud tenancy, and you've got absolute control, and you can report on that. We'll cover in the data analytics a bit later. We're carrier agnostic. So we offer you the ability to connect to multiple carriers, and you can switch carriers. So the 2022-2024 timeframe over here I'm talking about is really where we've made significant efforts in R&D in terms of robustness and recovery and scalability. Did you want to add anything more to that part, Clive? Because you've done significant work in this area.
I mean, there's a lot to it, but just to keep it brief, resilience in a cloud environment is so important because the underlying infrastructure is highly dynamic. And so we've spent a lot of time making sure that when those resources move or get changed, we're resilient to that.
Oh, that's great. That's a good summary. Thanks, Clive. So what have we seen out there? We've seen customers go, yeah, we've got an application that needs to send an SMS. They contact a service provider like Message Media or Cinch or Telstra or Soprano or others, and they say, okay, so how do we do it? And they say, yeah, use our proprietary REST API. And I go, okay, great. So problem with that is that there's suddenly one application that uses proprietary APIs and there's no controls such as duplicate messaging checks. There's duplication of programming efforts. So the next application that comes along and wants to do this exact same thing, they have to duplicate the effort. So they have to go and get another account and use the REST APIs to do that. So you can see the spaghetti arrangement here. It's an administrative nightmare. You've got to keep track of all these things. Many credentials lock into a single service provider by virtue of taking on proprietary APIs, etc. So that really is the disaster you don't want to go to. So how do we do it? So we basically act as this internal aggregation gateway that does all of the audit checks, compliance, security, high availability and recovery, all of those great things. And we provide a very simple interface. So it can be as simple as an internal email, or with our latest technology, just simply writing it to a database. We pick it up, we process it, and we give you the results back, and you process results, and that's the end of the loop. So that really is it. But out of the box, you can get support for multiple brands and divisions. And out of the box, you are carrier agnostic, which means you can connect to any carrier that you choose. What we're observing as customers are migrating to the cloud, they are modernizing their applications. So typically phase one is they lift and shift. Phase two is they take a really hard look at what they're doing, what platform as a service key things they can use, such as AWS RDS for SQL, or SQL managed instance in the case of Azure. So we've tested with all of those environments, whether it be on-prem, in cloud, your choice, your flavor. That's where we're focused, and that's what the whole focus has been for the last 3 years from BNS, is to work on this architecture, make sure it's rock solid. So we use open architecture. What does this mean? So we use a standard called the SMPP version 3.4 standard. So this is what service providers use themselves to communicate between other hops and aggregators. So here are some examples of who we've tested with. So you can choose and get the best possible rate per SMS. And that's the key thing that we offer, is that ability to negotiate price and choose and have failover. So that's what we call one of our hidden gems, dual SMS service providers, planning ahead. So it's all very well and good to have one Telstra connection, but if Telstra fails, and Telstra will, as will others, you need a backup. And our software can detect some connection issues and can then fail over automatically from one provider to another. It's not 100%, but it's about 99%. This is really what our customers like Suncorp Group really like. They like the fact that we've built an enabling platform that allows multiple business units, whether it be GIO, Vero, Shannon's, Amy, to all use the single platform. It's called Single Approach Infrastructure. And it makes the whole process of enabling an application really, really easy. So you build it once and don't reinvent the wheel. That's the whole thing here. More importantly, we've got cost centers built into the application so that for each SMS transmitted or received, we can write a cost center into the database records and they can be reported on. A simple email gateway approach for all apps and users. We've included this slide here because it just shows how any of these applications, CRM, SharePoint, SAP, or even some of the new low-code programming tools available from Microsoft and Pega and others can be used to send an SMS request. And it's simply a matter of sending it to mobile number at domain name. And we use .sms simply as a simple notification to show that it is an SMS from a visual perspective. At the end of the day, it comes out typically through an exchange infrastructure running in cloud or on-prem, over to our gateway. We shoot it out to the service provider, goes to the mobile network, replies come back or confirmations come back, and we deliver that back to the sending application. So that's as simple as it gets. For our government customers, we support the protected marking standard. So we are the only solution in Australia that supports this standard. And this is key where you have protected, in confidence, official, that type of protective marking, that you only want to allow the appropriate messages to go out to the public network through gateway controls. So we conform to the gateway standard. That's all that's saying. This is one of the really cool things that Clive implemented with his team. It's called a service health check. Do you just want to give us a quick update on where this is up to, Clive, and what it does?
Sure. So what this does is this is a built-in mechanism to check the end-to-end health of the system. So we've configured, this is from a live system actually, we've configured it so that 3 times a day the system sends a test SMS out to designated engineers, and it receives back a delivery receipt, which it then processes and advises via a report to the administrator that that health check end-to-end was successful. What you're seeing on the screen here is what comes up on the phone. So that last message there, a health check to a specific server, we've actually for security reasons, we block out the server name. Just the last 6 characters are shown at a particular time. In this case, it was the 27th of September at 9 o'clock. A test message was sent out, and the user sees it on the phone, the engineer sees it on the phone, and they know that, yep, the gateway is up and active. Going back, the delivery receipt just sort of, makes a report that just shows how easy it is to check it from end to end.
So if I'm expecting one at 3 p.m. and it doesn't arrive on my phone, it's
Correct.
An alarm bell to say, hey, what's happening here? Also masking out the server name, that's done for our government customers who just don't like full server names being transmitted outside of the network.
Correct, yeah.
Analytics. So this is something new that we've put into the platform. It's about visualization. It's about seeing what's happening with message traffic. And you can see this is a heat pad here, and you can drill down and get all of the information that you need. Some really cool things coming, and that will be the subject of a separate video in the future. But the important thing is your own Power BI team can go and develop their own templates for their own visual insights for whatever they need. Some of the case studies we've got here, and these are available through our normal website. So Civil Aviation Safety Authority, they alert pilots about health checks and things that they need to do, annual medicals, etc. Suncorp Group, all of the brands use it for renewals of insurance and banking and related type stuff. So they've been a customer since 2009 for this platform. Our partnerships with AWS and Microsoft. Most recently, AWS actually wrote a case study about BNS. So that's available on their website, and that's the link. And again, we went through 2 years worth of effort to get the qualified software logo and also the RDS service ready logo. So that was pretty intense to do that. And that puts us in the top 2% of AWS partners globally. That's all partners. So we are in the top 2%. We've been a Microsoft partner since the 90s. We've always held the ISV competency, certified for Windows platform testing, and now we're building solutions for Azure. In the next video series, we'll be talking about high availability. as Clive said, the robustness, the resilience, the recovery capability. And this needs to be done on all levels of the stack. So the SMS server level, the SQL across zones and regions, and of course the connection to one or more SMS server providers. So the next series of videos will be talking about this, and that's really getting into more detail. So we'll just move on and simply say thanks for tuning in to us. This has been a really great opportunity. We hope to share more with our own staff and customers in the future. And there's our contact details. And thanks to you, Clive. Any final comments on that?
No, that's pretty much it. I think the jewel in the crown is to realize that with this software, you have control in your camp rather than passing it to the carriers.
That's right. So top security note. All right. Thanks very much. And thanks for tuning in. And bye for now.